Hey folks, Mike Shea here from slyflourish.com and twitter.com/slyflourish. Last week I ran a little bit of game prep in Twitch. It was like my third time broadcasting to Twitch. It is let me make sure I don't have anything embarrassing up on my bookmarks here. How about I go to D&D Beyond just in case? That'd be bad. Um, and I thought it'd be fun to spend a little time, drink some delicious cocoa, and talk about game prep. I have two machines up this time. I have my iPad on the other side in chat, and I see that Newbie DM is there. I have no idea if anyone else is there. There's no real, I don't even know if I'm broadcasting, frankly. It looks like I'm broadcasting, but how can I tell? Hopefully you will tell me if I'm broadcasting or not. Hey, people in chat, tell me if I'm broadcasting. So I thought I have a weekly game on Sunday. Yay! Oh my God, Dave the Game is here too. No pressure, just people I highly respect watching my stream. So I have a game every Sunday. Dave said should have said the other thing. Boy, reading chat's distracting. I'm not good with distractions. So I have a game every Sunday at my friendly local game shop, Fairfax Comics and Games. They have changed their name, and I don't remember their name now. New owners picked it up. Very nice people, and they've been very supporting. I don't know if my mom is watching. If she is, I told her yesterday I would be so that she would not call and say, "Oh my God, you realize you're streaming yourself to the internet and you look like hell." She didn't use the word hell. So I have a game on Sundays. I am running Tomb of Annihilation, and I don't know exactly what percentage of the way through we are. The characters just hit level 5. And I thought it would be fun. I saved my game prep, of course, right before the game. No real good reason for that other than I'm lazy, as we know. So I thought it'd be fun to stream some of the game prep that I do. So this time I prepared a little bit, and if you look on the left side there, I have the 8 steps, the new 8 steps that I talk about in Return of the Lazy Game Master. If you're a backer of Return of the Lazy Game Master, this is a preview, although it's also in the preview. It's in the preview chapter of Lazy Dungeon Master, which I should drop in the chat window. Hey, would somebody in the chat be so kind as to find the preview of Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master and link it in the chat? If you did that, you would be awesome. So these are the 8 steps, and I thought I would go through them, and we can chat about them in the chat channel, and you guys can tell me I'm full of shit, which is just fine, and we can see if we get anywhere. I like to start my game prep off by looking at the characters. We have 6 players in my game. I believe they're all coming this week. And character-wise, we have Warren, the gnome. He is a druid who wants to be the biggest creature in the world. Warren, oh, let me get my wrap here. I did this last time. I gotta get my wrap to automatic. So Warren's player really wants, every time a critter shows up, he says, "Is that a beast?" Because he wants to know if it's something he can shapeshift into. So like, the leopard with the snakes coming out of its back showed up, and he's like, "Is that a beast?" I'm like, "No, it's a monstrosity." He doesn't like that. By the way, this is going to be full of spoilers for Tomb of Annihilation. So if you are playing in Tomb or plan to play in Tomb, I would suggest giving the show a miss. Sorry. So I think it's time that Warren sees a beast that he can change into. He's only 5th level, but at 6th level he'll be able to change into a CR1. So I want to make sure that he sees the coolest CR1 beast imaginable sometime in the next couple of sessions so that he can shapeshift into it. And it would even be fun if we could do a little scene about the beast he sees. So if you guys know of any cool CR1 dinosaurs that are fun and thematic for Chult, drop it into chat. We have Wheat Celine, H-W-E. I'm going to spell his name wrong every time. He is the Paladin of Ubtao. We have Smoke, who is a Tabaxi Rogue. We have names of characters. See, this is the good part. Like when you're sitting here and you're prepping and you write the names of the characters down. If you don't know them, you really oughta. And I don't know them all because I'm a terrible DM. But that's why I write books about how to be a better DM. It's not for other people, it's for me. I have a cheat sheet though. Gabriel. I'm cheating. I have a spreadsheet that has their names in it, and I loaded that up, but I'm not showing that to you. Gabriel's an interesting one. He is the Aasimar Divine Soul. He had a lot of fun with Eku recently. And who else do we have? We have Ogechi. Ogechi is a warlock. Too lazy to remember character names, yeah. Hey, cool. That is a cool one, Enrique. How do you pronounce that? Dionychorus? Dionychorus. Cool. Maybe they will be attacked by a Dionychorus plus a bunch of velociraptors. A pack of them will be kind of cool. Oh, and how can I forget Punchy? Who is a Kenku samurai who wants to fly. And I believe Punchy just got something that does enable him to fly. Oh yeah, I'll get into that in a bit. Dionychus. No R. Dionychus. I suck at that. Ogechi is a warlock. No, he's a sorcerer, human sorcerer. But he just picked up a new warlock patron, Shadow. Or he's going to, I think, at level 6, and we started to seed that with a new god. Who's the Shadow of Huptao? Warren, Wheat, Celine, Smoke, Gabriel, Ogechi, and Punchy are the characters. Where will the game start? So last session, they went through the entire Ziggurat with the Naga in it. I don't remember the name of the place. I really ought to look all this up. Compendium, Adventures. Have I mentioned how much I love D&D Beyond? I love D&D Beyond. The only thing I don't love is that it has a million locations in Chult and they're not bookmarked, so you have to go find them. Orlunga was the name of the. That's true. I'm not going to look it up though. Let me know. So they just went to Orlunga. They met the Guardian Naga, and the Naga gave them lots of interesting information and told them not only about the Soulmonger and about a Sararak's connection, but also, and this is a huge spoiler, it is a huge spoiler in the adventure. It spoils the main thing in the adventure, which is that Acerak is using the Soul Engine to rebuild a dead god, a stillborn god, and it is down in the depths there. They haven't. And they saw. I got to flash the image, that awesome piece of artwork. Whoops. I'll bring up multiple windows here. I'm going to show the piece of artwork. It's too cool now too. I just flashed it at one of the characters. I just picked the guy who had like the dream. This is always a fun thing to do. The guy had a dream of he had a vision of what is down in the Tomb of the Nine Gods. And he saw it. And I just showed him and his face just twisted up. And everybody else was like, "What'd you see? What'd you see?" He's like, "I don't want to talk about it." So that was really a lot of fun. Let's see if it has the picture in here. Cradle of the Death God. It'd be nicer if the art was easier to find. That's a good one. That wasn't it. Man, these chapters are so big. That one's pretty ugly, but it wasn't that one either. I wonder if I'm going the wrong direction. But I think it's the header image for the Tomb of the Nine God. Tomb of the. This is riveting, isn't it? This is quality video entertainment right here. Man, this thing is huge. I'm gonna have to read this one day, aren't I? Oh God, it's at the bottom. All right, I give up. You'll have to trust me. Oh, there it is. I found it. Open a new tab. Look at that. And that's some terrible stuff to see. So one of the players saw that, and it freaked him the hell out. Anyway, so they went through Orlunga. They talked to the Naga. The Naga told them everything. Oh, and the Naga said, "I need you to kill. If you swear your allegiance to me and you swear to kill Ras Nisi, you will have my blessing." And he gave the Naga gave his blessing, and his blessing were a bunch of charms from the DMG. The charms are one-shot things. They're sort of like you can do this one thing this one time, and I thought that was kind of lame. Like that, he'd give these gifts, and the gifts are like, the equivalent of drinking a potion. So I actually made them weekly recharges that once every 10 day you'll get it back. I don't know that there's a mechanic for every 10 day. I'm pretty sure there's not. But it might have been more fun to throw a random thing like you have a 1 in 3 chance of recovering it every day, or 1 in 4 chance. But that way they have a charm. So like Punchy immediately got his ability to fly, fly for 10 minutes, and it was like fly and invisibility and heroism and, buffs of various sorts, stuff that was useful. Takes an action to fire off, so it's not going to throw up in I'm going to get that the picture's too ugly to show. Oh God, I'll go right to it again. So they got all these charms, and they got a new quest. So now they know we need to destroy the Soulmonger. We need to kill Ras Nisi. And I don't think the Naga told them about that they had to kill the pirates, but I think there was something along the lines of like the pirates are bad news too. Jakala Bay, I think it is. Jalaka. What the hell is it? Jahaka. God, I'll never get that right. Jahaka Bay is going to come in pretty soon here. So they now have like 3 main quests to do, and it's kind of nice because they're wired in. They just hit level 5. They know they have to go to Omu. They know where Omu is, so they have it on their map. They also know where Jahaka Bay is, and they know that the pirates are in Jahaka Bay, so they know how to go there. And they know that the Tomb of the Nine Gods is beneath Omu, and so they go there. So they, the adventure has hit that stride where they know exactly what their goals are. They can still learn things. There's still secrets to bring up, but they know a lot of it. Like the main bulk of the adventure, they now know. So they began their path. They said, okay, well, we're going to go take care of those pesky pirates first. So they are planning to head towards the pirates. On their way there, I was running a random encounter, and they ran into a Cyclops who was fighting a bunch of Emerald Enclave elves, and the Cyclops was in this ring of skulls. There were these skulls impaled on spikes, and the skulls would open up in a silent scream and steal souls. And the characters could try to channel this into a necrotic attack if they wanted to, and only one person did. Everyone else is like, I don't want to have anything to do with those skulls. And or if they failed, then the skull would drain a little bit of their life. And so they fought 2 Cyclopses. Most of the Emerald Enclave people were killed because they were really low level, and like one Cyclops head just would kill them outright. And I think they rested in that. They cured, what do you call it? They consecrated the ground and got rid of the necrotic energy that was there, and found out that there's like these deep black roots that are going through all of the land underneath Chult, and that some areas are real dense with it, and that's the bad undead areas, and other areas are not. And the so they consecrated the ground, and they have rested for the night. So I think the start scene is going to be meeting the Emerald Enclave, right? And in particular, and we'll go ahead and get a name. I have a name generator of my own, but I'm going to use Xanathar's Guide because Xanathar's Guide is so cool. Xanathar's Guide has something like 19 pages of random names, so why the hell wouldn't we use them? Somebody went through the trouble of coming up with, I think there's like thousands of names in here. So we're going to have an elf, dwarf. We don't need an elf child. We will make it a female. And whoops, my Twitch channel stopped. What name looks cool? Jarsali, that sounds good. Jarsali, and we will go to my random name generator for a random names. I'll get one of these. Jarsali Flower Walker is pretty great. Gloomwalker. Jarsali. And we are going to stick her in the NPCs too. So Jarsali Gloomwalker has been hunting undead, and some of the elves that she was with got grabbed up by the pirates. She's too wounded from the battle with the Cyclopses to continue, but she could say, "Hey, if you head over to Jalaka Bay, hey, please rescue my elven friends." That is probably, but we probably want to have a random encounter in there too. Typically, I would just roll for an encounter. Jump to. I don't want any of this. Sorry, I'm mucking around here. Typically, I would not roll for a random encounter. I think there's like a Tomb of Annihilation random encounter. I think there's a random encounter generator. Heck, is this the hex call procedure? I will probably roll for a random encounter. You know what the hell? Why am I bothering mucking around? I'll just roll for it with my book. Yeah. Let's see here. Tomb, that looks like tomb. Oh, gotta grab some dice. I have a little bookmark right through the random encounter thing. So they'll be talking to the elves, and something will probably wander by, and we'll see what it is. It could, of course, be maybe those packs of dinosaurs, including the other one. But we'll see. So this is in a jungle, no undead because they just. So we got 23 is pteranodons. They fought pteranodons. So I think we're going to go with swarms of velociraptors, which I believe are pretty low challenge rating, aren't they? I can't spell velociraptors worth a damn. This is how we figure out how to spell things. And what was it? God, who came up with? Dino. Monsters. Wait. Deinonychus. Oh, Thank you, Matt Mercer. I'm gonna make it a big dynamic. Yeah, so it's CR1. It's pretty. What size is it? It's medium, but it makes 3 attacks. But I think I'm gonna have it be an ass kicker, and I think we're gonna up its hit points quite a bit, maybe double the hit points, and it will attack second. That would be pretty cool. So the Deinonychus will be there. So that seems like a strong start. Some talk with the elves, and maybe and there'll probably be some revealed secrets, and an attack by velociraptors and Deinonychuses. Velociraptors, I believe, are really low challenge rating. They're like actual velociraptors, not like they're not like the velociraptors from Jurassic Park. Ooh, they have pack tactics. Oh man, so they're CR 1/4. So I don't know. We're gonna use a bunch of them. Try a little coffee. So what scenes are going to occur? They are going to head to. So we got the starting scene with the owl. So we know that's going to happen. On the way, I'm probably going to group together some random encounters. I like doing the random encounters, but I don't like having them all the time. And mashing a few together, like having like one big scene with multiple encounters in it, that works. That works really well. So I've had a couple of these where like I'll take 2 encounters in the book plus an interesting place, like a neat thing that they witness, and I like that. Newbie DM says half of his game prep involves surfing Star Wars concept art and stealing stuff. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea, particularly if you're not running a published adventure. Just going through artwork and be like, that looks cool. So they're going to, and I think if anybody remembers it from last week, they are going to get attacked by the devil. The devil is a newly formed. So the devil is the sister of a pirate that they had killed up at where was it? Port Beluarian. And her brother are both pirate spy types and assassins. But little does the characters do not know that the devil is actually a newly formed vampire. And she's a day-walking vampire, as are the leaders of the pirates. So they are going to learn this fact the hard way when they are ambushed by a vampire assassin and a bunch of pirates. Probably as the second part of a big encounter. This will be as they get to, what do I call it? Jalaka Bay. Jahaka Bay. This will be right as they get close to the anchorage, and then they're going to run into these leadership types who are all going to be vampires. Does anybody remember the comic book Sea of Red? It was a comic book about pirate vampires. Our characters are level 5, so she's not going to be like a full-on vampire. I'm probably going to take a vampire spawn. I am. Oh, newbie DM is making me click a link. What is this? Terrifying monster. Ancient, massive, intelligent. Ooh, jawed tentacle. That's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. So they're going to get to the bay, they're going to see the ships, and they're going to recognize that these are explorers, and they're going to see that part of what the pirates actually want isn't treasure. They like their treasure, but they also like people. They've been grabbing up the crews of ships and then feasting upon them in terrible feasts. So Sea of Red is a great comic book about pirate vampires that I always kind of dug. And I think it might be kind of cool that on one of the ships is some kind of artifact. Some kind of artifact that actually lets the vampires walk during the day. Like it's some sort of shadow, maybe as they get closer to the bay, they look up to the sky and they see that it's kind of dim. It's dim around this. And that's because something is coming from the bay that is dimming the sun and allowing the vampires to walk around, at least in a general area. Maybe there's 3 such things, one for each of the ships, so that each of the vampires can kind of go around on their ships with these things that keep the sun out. So I think that might be cool. They're probably not going to get past the anchorage. So you can tell, like, those scenes, that's pretty weak, right? But the secrets are where really cool things happen. So secrets are where we just say, like, new interesting things that the characters can learn, and they can learn these from many different sources, not necessarily just one source. So these are like the clues of a murder, but you don't always have to find the one thing to learn the murder. You could have found a bunch of things that tell you a thing is true. Cool. I want to hear how the 8 questions work for you. I will tell you a thing about the 8 questions. Like, when I sat down to write the 8 questions, I tried to be sort of widely, I cast a wide net for them. I really said, like, what things do people typically do, and what do I tend to do, and what are the things that we would realistically expect people to do when they're doing their game prep. So it went from, like, the 3 in the original Lazy Dungeon Master to 8 now, and 8 is a lot. 8 is enough. And it's more than I typically use. I go through it because it's nice to go through it. Some of them are things that we might throw away, but actually I think are a really good idea. Like the who are the characters. I think that, it wasn't typical, but I now do it all the time, and I think it's valuable, and it sort of fits the new story focus of D&D. But like the scenes, I don't use the scenes all that often. I can almost throw the scenes away. And many times I don't bother. Scenes and locations to me are sort of the same thing. Same thing when I'm running a published adventure. The fantastic locations might be things that are already written in the adventure, so I don't do them. So I can often cut these down. The same with NPCs. NPCs might also get mentioned in scenes or the starting scene or in secrets, so then I don't really have to list out the NPCs. And you'll see in this one, I'm probably not going to list out the NPCs. Secrets are really powerful. I mean, secrets are, like, to me, and one of the big reasons I even bothered to rewrite Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master is because Lazy Dungeon Master did not have secrets, and secrets became this whole new way that I approach the game. I think they are the most valuable thing, and they also tend to take the longest. So I try to come up with 10. So the devil is actually a newly formed vampire. The pirates the character traits, so these are clear. What would those artifacts be? Would they be the same thing? Would they be, what object of darkness would a vampire have that could create a shell like that? I mean, an obvious trope would be like an orb. Could maybe like it could be a being, right? It could be like a Shadowfellian Sorrowsworn or something. Like maybe it's 3. They don't have Sorrowsworn in 5th, but we could have sort of these dark angels, right? And they grab these dark angels, kind of pull them, and then they're enslaved in the ships. I kind of like that. Pretty sure that's what Shadowsworn are, right? Do a little bit of research. Shadowsworn. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like a fey creature. Is it? Aren't they called Shadowsworn? Boy, I tell you, I bet Mordenkainen's is going to have exactly what I need in it. Damn it. I don't see anything. Anyway, I think they're going to be Shadowfell. Essentially these like they're not what are the Shadar-kai. Although some Shadar-kai might be fun as vampires, right? So when we think of monsters, man, I'm gonna end up using all this Mordenkainen stuff that I don't have. That sucks. Shadar-kai, we're just gonna reskin. We'll reskin stuff. But the idea that maybe these vampires are from the Shadowfell would be kind of cool, and that they've trapped these Shadowfell. They have these Sorrowsworn. Maybe they are. Yeah, maybe they're sort of devils. I mean, would probably an Erinyes would be too powerful, but they could be sort of like, shadow devils. That might be fun. What other secrets do we have? The pirates. Pirates are holding crews captive and using them. Food. They're eating the crews. The pirates are seeking the soulmonger. They actually want it for themselves. They probably haven't gotten too far, mostly because they can't really. For them, it's harder to travel in the jungle because of their vampiric forms. But they might have learned some stuff. That's 6. I need 4 more secrets. What are some other secrets? How about the spirits of the trickster gods? Live on. Right? I think even though the trickster gods themselves are dead, they still have spirits out there. Dark storm cloud effect, the Black Pearl had in Pirates 1, literally dragging the weather of hell around the ship. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. It's not just a dim shell, it's like an actual storm. Black storm. But maybe it's got like a Shadowfellian aura to it. How about the soulmonger is increasing in its power? It is not. Its power is not linear. It is quadratic. It is the more souls it gets, the more power is going through, and maybe they will actually see like a beam of green energy sort of piercing up into the sky. That might be something neat to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only need 2 more secrets that they could learn. What else could they learn? A airship crashed in the jungle north of Omu. I might want to explore that airship. It's probably, I think, a villain, a really great villain, would be that huge Tyrannosaurus that is in Omu. There is a huge Tyrannosaurus. Does anybody remember the name? It's got feathers. It's a big feathered Tyrannosaurus. The King of Feathers. Huge Tyrannosaurus named the King of Feathers. Yes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's, there's 10 secrets, 10 things they can learn. And those are mostly focused on the pirates because they're headed to the pirates. Fantastic locations. This is all about Jahaka Bay with some vampire stuff. So I'm not really going to fill out the locations. And also, so one thing that I often use is, and on Monday, I am going to have a new article about ancient monuments of Chult. I will show you an example. Chult monuments. So this is the article going up on Monday, and it gives you a list of 20 weird things, like an obsidian necrotic tomb or crumbling dominated skull of the Batiri, floating thunderous ruin. These are all. So I don't think we're going to have the the necrotic tomb might be a cool a tomb with statues to Ubtao around it. They get a lot of Ubtao. There's, these are like things you can drop into an encounter that look cool and kind of add to it. So I think an obsidian necrotic tomb of Ubtao would be cool. Made out of volcanic rock, statue, like a statue of Ubtao with his head removed and necrotic energy coming out of it. And maybe that's where they're going to face the devil, her and her pirate, her pirate cronies. They're going to talk to Jersali Gloomwalker, she is the Emerald Enclave person, and we need the pirate captains. In fact, those would probably be good. I can't read them at the same time. I have to shrink my window here. Actually, no, I just have to drag it over. So these are the pirate captains. Yeah, Infernal Glow, that's exactly the idea. And if you look at these, like all of them are intended to be sort of a centerpiece of an encounter. Decorated charming carving of Dendar. That's not a very good one. Gore-covered psychic rock of the Grung, right? They have this rock that is so gory. Like if you're going to do a Grung thing, having a rock that's so covered in gore that it gives you nightmares just staring at it. Ivy-covered acidic statue of the Aarakocra. I don't know why it's acidic. Vampiric wereboar. That is a lot of things to add under a creature, but I kind of dig it. Excavated fiery tree of Dendar the Night Serpent. Ruined radiant throne of the Yuan-Ti. You don't have to use all these direct. Most of the time it's just to sort of fire off some random, get your brain thinking in interesting directions, and you find one you kind of like. It is similar to one I posted, only this one is tailored for Chult. So it's intended to give you to give players a view of the 9 trickster gods. You can select the Moa and Obalak, Nang Nang. This Kubazan, crumbling watery skull of Kubazan the Froghemoth. Imagine you're at a waterfall and part of it is this weird, somebody has carved this enormous head. I'm keeping that one. Right, that's another cool one. Imagine you're at a waterfall and the waterfall is flowing through the mouth of an enormous carved Froghemoth thing. And you're like, what in that? Who would bother to carve a giant Froghemoth head? Well, you would if you worship Nang Nang of the Kubazan. So monsters, we have vampire spawn. We're going to have bandits, right? Probably a lot of bandits. we are going to have the what was it? The dinosaurs, right? The Velociraptor. I'm copying and pasting these. So I want to write that out. I don't think they're going to meet the King of Feathers. I am looking for it. They ran into a zombie Tyrannosaurus, and I have a feeling it's going to be stalking them. So I'm not going to put the King of Feathers on there. I like the Vampire Wereboar. We'll give that guy a cool name. Let's find a name. Fane's Oak Star. Fane's Broad Glacier. My names are not very good. Monster Brow. Any other? What kind of monsters would pirates have? So they probably have some ghouls. That kind of feast. That sort of lurk around. They're sort of the lowest tier of monsters that the vampires keep, and they keep so hordes of them to control things or release. Many of these might be captured from the, captured from the jungle. Any other monsters? What about like a young black dragon? Could be one of the pirates. That'd be pretty good. Ooh, CR7. Ooh, woohoo! 49-point blast of acid. Storm Terror. Storm Gliders. Storm. Wasn't Storm Shadow? That was the ninja from G.I. Joe. We'll go with Shadow Storm. That's fine. That's good enough. The young black dragon is a like a partner of the lead of Zarum El Syriac that he got when they went to the Shadowfell. Sea lions. That's not so bad. I should go back and read through the chat. So treasure, what magic items? So who hasn't gotten any magic items? It's really a good question. I should be keeping better track of this. Warren is a druid. I think he got something. Well, so they all got the charm, so they're all happy there. There have been Smoke, I think, has a magical crossbow, if I recall. I don't know. We'll probably do some rolls. I'll probably roll randomly for some treasure. I could do a little bit of rolling randomly right now. I love, by the way, Don John's random stuff. Ring of Mind Shielding would be pretty crazy good. That's not so bad. Isn't the Sword of Vengeance, isn't that a cursed item? I'm trying to think of like what would the what would the devil carry? She's definitely got some nasty stuff. So I think she's got a poison dagger. And I think she also probably has another, probably a short sword. Rogues like short swords. She's definitely assassin type. She's not going to carry anything else. So we're going to use a different table. I'm going to use, I have a, let's see, we're going to use the Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. Let's see, it's not the campaign workbook. There, the Lazy DM workbook prototype. And one of the things that this has, hey, let's see if I can give you guys a sneak preview of some true Lazy Dungeon Master stuff. So I am going to add a window capture. Sorry, this will hopefully be good. And we're going to go with, where is pages? Preview, there we go. That is way too. Sorry, doing all this in real time. So this is the first prototype of a workbook that I'm putting together for Lazy Dungeon Master. I don't know if you guys can see it, but one of the charts it has is it's got traps and items, and we're going to go with items. So she carries a short sword. We know that. It is a 7, a pristine undead. Ooh, because she's a vampire. Of course it's undead. So she has a pristine undead short sword that has a ability that it can do once a day. I love doing the 96. That probably is too good. Whatever 96 is, I'm sure. Cloud kill. That's not bad. So maybe she has a short sword that's got like a skull pommel, and once a day she can hold it out and the skull will open up and breathe out a cloud kill. So that's a good one. I don't know who's going to want that, but it's maybe the rogue. Oh, I don't know. Hang on. Sorry. That was your preview. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to get rid of that now. Remove this. There we go. Back to the thing. So, yeah, one of my favorite tricks for magic items is taking just a mundane magic item, but attaching a spell, putting a spell effect that sits on it, and that can be activated once a day. Yeah, she'll be immune to poison, so you can just do it and it'll be all around her. I've heard that liches casting Cloud Kill on themselves is just vicious. So yeah, she can fight inside of it while everybody else is taking 5d6 points of damage. It could be really ugly, and I think it also obscure, right? She can't be seen, so I mean, but maybe she can see through it because I'm a bastard. That might be really hard for level 5s. We'll see. But maybe they'll flee. She won't get them. Who knows? Who knows how this will go? So that is, enough prep. I feel good. I'm ready. Right? I'm good. I'm good now. All prep. Thing about game prep is if you feel good, it's good. If you don't feel good, then maybe it's not so good. I think there's probably people who never feel good and always feel like, oh, I'm totally not ready. That's bad. And it's kind of like, well, what's good enough? Because we know that really our players just want to sit and have a good time playing D&D. So does anybody have any questions about anything or anything they want to talk about, or issues in their lives they'd like to discuss? I'm going to go back through the Twitch here and just take a look. I haven't been reading. Yes, I did warn my mom ahead of time. Yes, I'm too lazy to remember character names. Yeah, newbie DM wants somebody to put together like an hour-long video of just me mispronouncing dinosaur names. That's thank you for that. Newbie DM likes his Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah, exactly. Dave the Game. First campaign of New Edition. I'm playing a dwarf fighter. Second campaign. I'm a Kenku samurai. Third campaign. I'm using an alternate magic rules and creating my own race from a third-party book. I have a feeling that there's people already doing that. I did have so this is probably not super nice. I was thinking about Xanathar's Guide to Everything Else, and that it's an extremely successful product from a sales standpoint, but I wonder how many people can actually use it at the table. I think it was a weird thing to put out. Like I'm not bashing anybody else's work. Like, we should all, one of the things I was talking to my wife about this today, that the idea that we're all trying lots of different things and all of us have ideas about what we think is right, and we're building products and we're putting it out there, and some of us may be closer and some of us will be far away, but we can kind of experiment with it and see what works. I'm really happy that's going on. I was just thinking about John Four and James Introcaso have a big ass 1 to 20 campaign adventure, right? And they built it so that you can kind of take bits and pieces of it. And they also built it so you can fit into your own campaign world. But it's like a big 1 to 20 campaign. And I went a different direction, which was specifically, I'm going to make a bunch of adventures that are 1 to 4, or 2 to 5, I guess, right? But I'm going to stay low level, and they're all going to be separate, and they'll be connected by like a town, but not really. There's no real connection from one adventure to another. And it's neat that we're both trying that, because people can gravitate towards whichever ones they tend to want. But I do also wonder if there are products that are coming out, that are selling really well but aren't being used. That people want them and like them, but they're not really going to hit the table. And I wonder if Xanathar's Guide to Everything Else is one of those, because like we just got 24 new builds in Xanathar's Guide itself, which have been playtested for like 2 years. And now we have like 24 additional builds that I don't know what kind of playtesting they went through. And they're certainly not AL legal. And I don't know that. I mean, I suppose if I had a player who's like, hey, I bought this book and I saw this build and it looks really cool, what would you think? And I'd be like, well, we're going to take a hard look at it. I'm going to read it over real carefully and see if there's anything that's bugging me. But, I mean, I guess I would allow it if people really wanted it. So I think you're right, Dave, that the magic rules created by own race. Yeah, I have a group. My group has been traveling all over the place. That's really worked. Chewinga kill the Chewinga for the masks. Players working for the pirate. Yeah, I stole the idea of vampire pirates from the Magic the Gathering D&D connector for the jungle one. I don't remember what it was called, and I'm not going to look it up. But they put out a jungle pack, and in there was vampire conquistadors. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I love vampires. Vampires are my favorite bad guy. So dropping some vampires in, I think, would be fun as a little side thing. It makes pirates more exciting. Let's see. Yeah, the Wreck of the Star Goddess. Building their own airship. That's kind of a neat thing. Sorry, I'm going way back. Encore, the text program I'm using is called Sublime. It is big for coder types, but I found that I really don't like Word. I like really lightweight text editors, and I'm so used to Sublime, and it's lets you do regular expression pattern matching, and it formats Markdown. If you see, like, the reason why this stuff's a header is because it knows Markdown and knows double pound signs are headers. So I write everything in Markdown. All my books are written in Markdown, and my code is written in Markdown. Although I use Jupyter Notebook a lot for code these days. But that's feeling SG is like having a book with advice from a really experienced DM. Yeah, I think that's good. And I had a player that brought it, and it looks wonderful. Like that, there was that whole argument about like this looks too professional. Was an argument that came out, which is kind of a ridiculous thing to say. And I looked at him like, it really does look professional. And I think that my only thing is, I wouldn't have had any problem at all if I knew that the stuff that was in there had been play tested. Like if it, I don't know how they put it together. But it'd be great if they said like, here are all these things, and we had 100 people that tested them and liked them. Just, because it looks really good and people are going to want to look at it and play, but I don't know that it came anywhere other than somebody's big idea. Who knows if it works? I'm glad it was useful. I have no idea why it would be useful, but I'm following Adam Koebel's advice that you could stream anything and people will want to watch it. Anything you think that no one would want to watch, they'd actually want to watch. So I'm hoping it was useful. Do I consider terrain in minis? I do not. I have stopped considering terrain in minis, particularly because I do so many random encounters. So this is at my store game. This is, when I go out. So I bring my Sly Flourishes flat plastic curated minis with me. So I can usually pull stuff out of there. Yeah, people love OneNote. I'm not a big OneNote. My mom loves OneNote. But I just use text. I like text. And because I might switch the editor, and if I want to switch an editor, all my stuff is in text. Um, so I don't consider terrain in minis. I know that like Dave Chalker, who's I don't know if he's still around, but Dave actually had the really good idea that if you're thinking up encounter ideas, just look through your maps and find a cool battle map, and then build an encounter around the things you have. And I think that's a fine way to go. If you've got particular mini you like, I ran a game on Wednesday, and I had just painted two really cool hobgoblin slash bugbear minis. I can't tell which. I think they might have been bugbears. And I decided that the villain, who normally had his henchmen, and they were going to be like normal humanoid types, I said, what if his henchmen are two bugbears, like two brothers, one real tough brother and one that was more of an assassin type? Uh, so I got distracted by the "your mom loves OneNote" as like an insult. It's pretty funny. My mom does love OneNote. So I use them because I had the minis, and even I think my wife caught it. She's like, "Oh, great! You just painted those minis, and now you got to put them in the battlefield." I'm like, "It didn't matter. I don't even think they had any bugbear things." So yeah, I don't consider training minis, and I'll tell you, like, one thing that I've let go of is worrying about the number of monsters based on the fact that I'd have to use minis. So I'm gonna throw what are they? Velociraptors at the party, and the Velociraptors are CR 1/4, and the party is level 5. So according to my own rules for encounter building, I think I can throw like 4 Velociraptors at each character. It's like 1/10. So a tenth of 5 is 0.5. Do I have that right? Yeah. So I can throw more than 4 Velociraptors per character. So 25 Velociraptors. I might throw 30 Velociraptors at them today. A big pack of Velociraptors. I don't have 30 Velociraptor minis. I'm not going to put 30 of anything out on the table. I'm just going to say, you're getting attacked by 30 Velociraptors. They're all around you. What do you want to do? And they'll say, I want to hit them with a fireball. And I'll be like, great, you can hit, 8 of them with a fireball if they're packed together, maybe 6 if they're spread out. So, yeah, so I like not considering minis when I'm planning stuff, because I would not throw 30 Velociraptors at the party if I was worried about minis. I think it's a limitation to the idea that like it can't be 6, it has to be like 6 to 8 bad guys just because anything else is too complicated. Well, in a narrative battle, it doesn't have to be that way. You can infinite Velociraptors. I think I mentioned on a podcast that I threw 100 skeletons at the party once. It was 1,000 skeletons. I think it was 10,000 skeletons total, but like 1,000 that could hit them at a time. And it's because they went into a huge chamber underneath. This was in Storm King's Thunder, and what's not even in the adventure. They went to Dragonspear Castle, and underneath Dragonspear Castle, the Red Wizards of Thay had left an army of 10,000 skeletons ready to storm over Waterdeep, and they left it. The campaign didn't work, so the Red Wizards left, but they left their skeletons sitting there and breaking apart. And the party walked through this huge chamber filled with 10,000 skeletons, and they did something, and it triggered the skeletons, and they attacked. And they they were getting just destroyed, and they ran down this tunnel. They ended up throwing up a wall of fire, and so many skeletons ran into the wall of fire that melted them and turned into this giant bone slag pool that stopped all the other skeletons. But the idea that they can fight 10,000 skeletons, I mean, it's not like a straight battle. It's a weird situation. But I like, that's the way the story went. Yes, so the ability for 5e to go from miniatures to theater of the mind and back again, I think is really useful. And I probably will have miniatures on the table with those Dionycus. Dionycus. I probably will have those guys out there, and then I'll say, and there, there's these 2 big, powerful Dionycuses, Dionyci, and there's 30 Velociraptors. What do you want to do, right? So being able to go back and forth, minis sometimes, sometimes you're fighting one big guy, sometimes you're fighting one monster per character, and sometimes you're fighting like 30 guys. I feel like when I put 30 beasts on the Roll20 map around the characters, way more than 8 would be caught by a fireball. Maybe I'm running them the wrong way, unrealistically. Yeah, I was in my head. I was thinking, well, if you have 30 velociraptors that are intermingled with the party, biting and chewing, and they have pack tactics, um, biting and chewing and everything else. If you're willing to fireball yourself, you'll kill them all. And somebody probably will say, you know what? We are better off fireballing ourselves than getting hit by 30 velociraptors. And then you could probably kill them all because they're all on top of you. But if they're coming out of the forest and you see them, you're probably not going to get more than 8 in a 40-foot, within 40 feet of each other because they're all surrounding you. It's not one big pack. So, considering that, and I just have a rule, that in my head of how many creatures kind of fit in a big area, and 4 to 8 is usually what fits in a big area, and then kind of going from there. So yeah. Anyway, it has been an hour. I hope you have enjoyed this video cast. I am actually going to go stick it up on YouTube for anybody that wants to see it there. I don't know if this is gonna be a regular thing, but I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know like how I could do this better, what would be more interesting to talk about. I know there's a lot of me kind of fumbling around with stuff. So we'll see. But I do appreciate everybody spending their time. I hope you enjoyed your coffee. I hope you thought about some D&D, and I will see you on the other side.